Back at it again here live. Again, my name's Ryan Howe, just a dude who works in his yard. Um, Today we're going to continue on with my project where I'm building out flower beds in my backyard. I'm going to flip it around here so you can see. It's where we started at yesterday. I got this little white border here, just keep my dogs out of there. Again, we were slowly just picking away at this, and we're going to take it across that entire stretch there in my privacy fence. Just so you can see, that is about from that section over there, over that corner right there, to 80 feet. So I got a lot of shoveling in front of me. But before we do that, I figure let's take a little tool around the property here, just kind of catch you up on where we're at with things. Yesterday was it's a pretty fun day. I don't want to say fun day. It was a more fulfilling day than anything like that. It was just got a lot of stuff accomplished and need to get done here. So let me just show you that. I got to check on some temperatures and stuff. But first things first, we're here at our sunflowers. Good Lord, strawberries are continuing to do what strawberries do, looking pretty good. I have a video if anybody wants to see how you go about starting strawberries from rootstock. But they're doing real good here. This is an area next on my list. All this extra grasses, don't really care for it. Additionally, what else did we have? Oh yeah, so this was a big part of yesterday, was getting my compost piles going again. I depleted them. There were some that were already working. I need to check on temperatures today, see where we're at. So, this thing up. We're going to see together. Where's this thing cooking at? All right, we are in at 130 on my compost pile. So that's good. It means everything that needs to be happening in there is happening. Got some heavy microbes chomping away. Cool. All right. Other stuff. So again, there's my coffee from this morning. Go figure. Come on, Ryan, get it together. Go put this over by the door here. Get the greenhouse mostly empty. Again, I haven't really. I got to start my fall stuff here in a little bit. All right, this is coming to go. This is just a sunflower. This is a mammoth sunflower I started a few months ago, just so I'd have one done early. But the rest of these, we'll go take a look at this spot here in a little bit. Let's see how the garden's doing here. Go check this out. So here, see how much they're doing good. Round of flowers for these guys. Here. Love it. So I've been I'll flip this around so we're going back and forth. But I've been pulling these off pretty consistently, just trying to get new heads to pop. But I let these go a little bit longer than normal because I want my bees in here, getting some good to eat here. On this side over here, got my corns coming up. I got 4 rows of corn, and I'm still waiting on the sunflowers to pop up, which is a little concerning because they should have been up within the last couple days, and they're not there. Again, on the bright side though, I have plenty of sunflower seeds, tons of them. So in sunflowers, it's not like it's a staple crop or anything like I have. I just like them because they're pretty, and I use them. They just look nice, but they can be started pretty much whenever here in the next couple weeks. So if I don't see something soon, I'll just pop some more new ones, seeds in there. All right, next spot is, these are my Brussels sprouts. I've let them, let me switch around here. I've let them go to flower and then go to seed. You can see they're getting their pods going right now. So I'm gonna have tons of Brussels sprout seeds, so I can just basically get these started up again. Which has been really nice too. When you do your Brussels sprouts and let them go to flower, you still get leaves that you can saute up when butter and garlic and still enjoy. So there's goodness there. All right, you can see where I've done my composting here, right? Got my compost out. Got to talk about those guys in a second. Here's my just my cucumber starts right now. I've got 8 total plants here. So they got some basically this fresh made compost from my garden, and we're already starting to get some heads here. So there you go. I got a flower right there. You can see that guy. So that's good news. Actually, even over here, we can probably get a better view. Here we go. Ooh, got caught on something. Sorry about that. There we go. Got our flowers going. So I'm gonna have some nice Gonna have some great whole bunch of pickles this year. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna be canning some of those, but other side of this too, those for the cucumbers. It's on the list of vegetables that I'll be putting out for my neighbors. Once next couple of weeks, I'm going to be building a vegetable stand out there for them. I can just give out to my neighbors because I will be producing a bunch. All right, so what do we got here? Next spot, zucchinis are coming out. Got zucchini blossoms are doing their thing. It's pretty good. Again, more composts in there, and then these are my summer squash. And I even got one poking his little head out here, right there, already getting going. So that's good there. Along here, and then you'll see. Let me back up a little bit so you can see this better before we go deep diving. I have basically 4 rows of tomatoes. This section here, along here, is San Marzano. Those are all San Marzanos that are growing, and except for back there, those 2 are just some 60-day slicers that I want to get. I think they're called like they're a 60-day hybrid, just so I could have some tomatoes sooner rather than later. Just have them around. My little marigolds, started all those from dead-headed seeds my mom wanted. I've got those basically ringing the entire garden enclosure on the outside, along with black-eyed Susans. But yeah, yesterday morning. So what we started with was basically just getting compost all around here. It's my second batch of compost this year. Be able to get that out for these, and then here, these tomatoes here are these are all different types of cherry tomatoes that I have. You can see here, see the different coloration. I had some frost come through, and you can see how bad the basil did there, but no worries. Planted a little early. It is, those leaves die and they make new ones. It's great. And on the back here, ooh, that's way too much zooming. Sorry about that, guys. Ooh, let me zoom back. There we go. I just walk over there, probably easier. I have here are some more of those 60-day hybrids that I set up, and they were planted basically a month after those guys down there. So that way they're going to be producing, and these guys here will be producing shortly thereafter. So I just have a nice little steady state of them coming through. And I sent a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes for the neighbors. Peas are doing okay. I'm not like ecstatic about my peas this year, but it's something that we're working on. Trying to get a little happier about it. But I am getting, like you said, I am getting some nice blossoms going, so that's good news. Like I said, I'd like to see them a little bit healthier, but again, this is a new spot where I'm trying out stuff to see how it goes. But they are taking off now, which is good. Yesterday on stream also, we came through, did some weeding. I thinned out my carrots a bit, so they're doing their thing. Again, I'm not really happy with the way the carrots came up, but it is what it is. And we got some more lettuce in the ground here, because this is where I had my tomatoes last year, so I've got tons of tomatoes coming up. But those are a butter lettuce like that one back there. See, we got that. So every day basically I'm coming through and just grabbing. Like last night, grabbed a whole bunch of lettuce from here, here, and here. And they're good for a few cuts, to be able to get them for salads and whatnot, which is nice. But these are endive. If you haven't had endive, I highly recommend you add it to your list for your garden. It is just so good to be able to sprinkle some of those in with salad, with your other lettuce, right? And then this is little black seed lettuce. It's kind of like I want to say, basically, if kale and which kale's right over there, if kale and what am I thinking, romaine had an illegitimate child that I didn't really care for all that much, that's what it tastes like. A little crunchy, a little peppery, a little bit tough. I love the stuff. It's really great. And it matches really well with any type of your butter lettuces. So I got them there. Lastly, I got some cauliflower here. And then I said I got my kale doing its thing. And we had a bunch of kale last night with our meal. Let's see here. I've got my pumpkins. They're coming up finally. And these guys are just going to let them run amok this year, see how they do. I only need I really only need a couple of them to come up to, produce enough pumpkins for what I need them for. Basically, all they are is for decoration. However, I'd like to have a few more going. The next is my butternut squash. It's butternut squash. They look like squash, nothing crazy. But here, these that are coming up here, right next to my trellis here, these are. You can see a better one right there. Those are going to be bottle squash, which are those, they're bigger at the bottom, a little bit at the top. I had somebody on the stream, by the way. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hope I earn your subscription. Hit the notification bell, so when I go live like this, you can hop on the stream. But somebody did recommend me do bottle squash this year, so I was like, all right, well, I ordered some and got them in. Weird looking seeds, really fun. They look like little baby's feet. It's really weird, but I popped them in there and got them rolling. The other thing that's pretty cool, like right now, what I love, I'm gonna switch back around here, is my little time plan here. This guy, look at these flowers. I love it when my thyme plant is flowering. It's just so pretty. Isn't that great? And of course, it's thyme, so it still smells amazing. And then I've got some oregano, you know, hanging out behind the Buddha here. Got some oregano doing its thing. And then, like I said, I've got more of my marigolds around there. So, and along that, I've also got some bush beans planted. We'll see how they come up. I'm not holding out a lot of hope on those, at least for right now, until I can get the rest of my until I can basically get the rest of my compost down here, because I'm going to be traveling back and forth in this area. So they may not be too happy with that. Okay, so let's take a look here. Before I get into today's basically working on show you guys kind of what I'm working on today in the next few days. It's going to probably be a full week worth of work. Figure we make our way around here and just kind of show you around the perimeter that I got. So here's my garden enclosure, right? It's 50 by 25. There's my little greenhouse. If any of y'all been on the stream before, we spent months in that thing getting ready. Basically growing these guys. A lot of these guys here, which are marigolds. These are black-eyed Susans that my mom gave me. She gave me a metric ton of them. Like, I'm not joking. It was like a metric ton. Like 7 milk crates full of black-eyed Susans. She had so many she had to thin out. So I just put them around the garden here. I'm still trying to figure out a spot for this guy. So we're just kind of letting my rosemary, live their best life. They'll overwinter just fine. So I just got to find a home for them. And then my wildflowers are coming in. I've got some zinnias. But my wildflowers in this area did have my Johnny jump ups finally jump up. Aren't those guys cute? Aren't they adorable? Right here, it's just you got these guys here, and then this little baby one. Look at them, tiny. Anyways, so these are starting to come out. These wildflowers here, we're starting to get a little bit of bloomage here. Now again, these are the wildflowers that I got here and I put in. I think I got them from Lowe's or Home Depot. You can go get the bags of wildflowers for your area, and that's very important. Make sure wherever I'm in Michigan, so I just got Midwestern wildflowers to make sure that they were going to be specific for this region. Ain't trying to bring in anybody that shouldn't be here. So these are dwarf sunflowers. Let's see, they were that I started. You can see one of them obviously got hit pretty hard. We'll see if this one makes it. However, this is what they should be looking like, and these were started. So this is a great example for you folks here. So these were started at the same time that those were. These I were able to get out of the small little 1x1 inch planters, the seed starting pads, 2 weeks ahead of those ones, just for reasons. So you can just see the difference that all of, basically keeping them stunted in those 1x1s, it definitely does hamper their growth. So these guys and what they do is they just kick out one, you can see they're getting ready, put out their basically their flower. And these are really great. These are really good if you want to do, if you're looking to like cut flowers to have around the property. They're great to have because they start early and they're nice and big, and they're a good centering section for that. So here we've got my Mexican sunflower. So what this does is it puts out a whole bunch of red daisy-like sunflowers, about yay big. Ends up being about 5 foot tall. So it's going to be, way up here, kind of help cover up the ugly portion of my house. That wasn't too bad, but once we added in the solar panels, it started getting pretty obnoxious over here. Okay, going along here. Again, you can just see we're got a few more wildflowers popping up, but I also have my zinnias and cleomes are in there too. My mom wanted cleomes, so that meant I was making cleomes. I started impatiens this year. They take a little longer to get rolling than I remembered, but it's okay. Once they do get going here, the next. I mean, this is already doubled in the last. I'd probably say at least 3 days. How much growth we're getting now. And for impatiens, the what are they? The hummingbirds absolutely love them. So definitely something to look at. So I got one zinnia getting ready to do its thing here. Here, there we go. Getting ready to pop out there. That's always a good news story when that happens. Yeah, see this one just starting to bud there. Cool, like that. But you can just see along this whole way here is just marigold. There you go, marigold right out there doing its thing. There we go. Oh, that fence. My camera does not like that fence. There we go. It's messing it up. Anyways, so there's that. So that's that. Along the fence here, I guess this is the other one too. So I've got basically they're called. I think I can't remember this. I think it's called butterfly pea. So it's basically a vine, bunch of purple flowers that are going to pop up in a big old vine. So I've got them on each one of the fence posts here. So in the next 2 months, this is just going to be covered and coated with purple flowers. Purple flowers. Let's see up front here. What else we got going on? Let's see here. So you can see I've got one guy coming up doing their best here, and I've got the whole rest of the team is coming along, as you can see. They're popping up, which is good. We got some work to do over there. This area I cleared out here. This is the first year doing these with made this myself. Not made this, but put this together. These are the petunias that I grew this year, started from seed. So they're doing really well. Pretty happy with this. And then I don't remember the name of this stuff for life of me. But it's, you just grab, it's like $1 for each one of these. Be able to pop them in there just to break up the look. And I got another one over here. So these petunias are looking really nice. I love this color set. Isn't that gorgeous? How that comes together. So pretty. So I like petunias, but I did learn they are really hard to grow. They are fickle little bastards. Excuse my language. All right. So this is one of the trees my wife wanted, because when this thing flowers, like when it first, it's one I put in first here. When it flowers, it's just gorgeous. Beautiful white flowers all over. And then here's the orchard on the. I'm trying to think what side of the house is this. This is the east side of the house. So you can see I've continued on with kind of the same motif that I had in the front. And getting lots of our guys hopping up here. See, we got one getting ready to get started. And again, highly recommend. And I'm going to show you the book here. I'm going to show you guys the book here in a little bit, but you want to get a landscaping book for your region. It's super important. Don't look online and try to figure out. Oh, I think that looks good. Always use a basically region-specific book, and I'm going to show you which one I got from Midwest. All right, so these are my pawpaw trees right here. The stick. Oh yeah, for the Sunday morning motorcycle folks to go by. All right. What time is it? Church just got out too, so it's gonna be loud for a second. Churchgoers. But you can see I've got the first leaves are starting to come out of here for my pawpaw tree. And if you guys don't know what pawpaw is, check it out. It's they're basically their fruit tastes like a mixture of bananas and custard. It's pretty good. So these are my Rainier cherries. I'm not going to get any fruits this year. I already knew that. But the next couple of years I should be good. We had some pretty wild winds come through here. Get this. I got another one right here. Then, unfortunately, this guy didn't make it. This is an Alberta peach. You can just see this one did not make it, unfortunately. So I'm going to be pulling him out here the next couple days. It's a shame, but we do have Alberta peaches here and here. Got a whole bunches of these guys. So this is what the healthy version of this guy looks like. And like I said, it's kind of the, it's not only losing one tree out of 3, 6, 12, 13. That's not bad, because sometimes they just don't take. They get overstressed. Look at those little peaches. Then I've got, and you see, this is why when it comes to these things, it's always just kind of an issue. My pear tree here, got this guy. He's doing okay, not too great, but then you got this one over here, took just fine. So I'm not too worried about it. Pear trees are, they're pretty robust. They should do fine. And then I've got 4 different apple trees. It's Macintosh and Fuji. So this is a Macintosh tree right here. You just see. So they still are. Got to hoist them up a little bit here. The wind's been wreaking havoc. And then this guy here is a Fuji apple. So you can see that. Now when I was looking at the side here, as far as setting this up, I put lilacs across here because lilacs grow really well here. That's a big old lilac bush right there. And I've got more of the Mexican sunflowers. I've got one over here that's doing really well. I think you'll like. I'm going to be coming in here next week, pulling all this grass out and putting mulch down. But you can see that Mexican sunflower, how big it's getting. It ends up being like a bushy plant with a big old red. But you can just see the difference between the soil, and they're literally just right next to each other, and the differences that you have here. So, but these are purple lilac, so they're going to be like nice little purple spot to them. But you can see this guy here. Again, this Mexican sunflower. I'm looking forward to seeing how it does here. It's supposed to be really beautiful. So, and lots and lots of flowers. So there's that. All right. Last bit here before we get inside here. Hope you enjoyed the tour. A lot of folks haven't seen the whole property yet. So it's a little over a half an acre, but I've got to go in. We're going to be clearing this stuff out here. All right, yeah. So this is my dogwood. So this is the wife and I, we were chatting and want to have a place where we can basically put our dogs when they go to rest. So this is going to be, we got a dogwood tree. So they can have a little spot in our little pups when they pass. We have one we're waiting to put in here. Going to be planting her there when she's here the next couple weeks. Last is these. I want to show you, if you have patience, if you're able to, it's always a good thing for your plants. So last year, while I was just setting it up, I got these bushes, right? They were about this big, and they barely grew last year. And then this year, after a year of being set up, they're ready to go. And the difference when I'm bringing that up is if you've got time, get the smaller versions. Just have your patience, because I knew on the plan I wasn't going to be able to get to these guys into the backyard really until this year. So I just want to get something in there. They were not even half price. They're about a third of the price of something that was basically 1 year longer. So if you have time, get the smaller version and let them do their thing. Last bit we got here is the mountain ash that we're going to have in here. I don't think it's going to fruit this year. That's unfortunate. But if you're in a region that you can have mountain ash, I recommend you get it. The birds absolutely love it during the winter. Super, super good for them. Okay, so I'm going to get you guys set up here because I got to get to work. But I do want to show you, once I have you set up, the book that I was talking about for just to have for your landscaping and stuff, and kind of show you what I'm doing here today. I'm going to set you up on this. Kind of get settled in here. Oops, what just happened there? I don't know what just happened there. What was that? There we go. I don't know what that was. Sorry, folks. Okay. So this is the book that I got, Midwest Home Landscaping. They have one for each of the regions. So what I would tell you is just go on Amazon, get yourself a copy, because it's going to help you find basically anything you want to use that's going to work for your property, more than likely. Just because it's from that region. You might find something you like that looks good on the old interwebs, but if it's not for your region, it's going to struggle, and you may end up, it'll be more pain than anything. So this is what we're going to be doing. So I'm building out the beds to do this, and this is why I like this thing, because you get to see the full picture, kind of the markup for it. But then also, they tell you, because each one of those little squares on there is a foot, they tell you exactly how you got to plant your stuff to make sure you get the best, but you don't overstress them, and tell you exactly how many plants to put in there in each section. And then they give a description of what each one of those plants are and kind of how they do, how they go. So highly recommend it. Get this here. It gives you some ideas what to work with. I'm literally just copying that, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm in the process, as you can see, of pulling all my wonderful grass that I paid a bunch of money up out of the ground. I was talking to the wife about that. I was talking on the stream yesterday. I was talking to the wife. I was like, oh, it pains me. We spent so much money on it, but we needed it for later, for now. Not really worried about it, then. So, all right. So I am going to get you guys up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little tour. I'm going to do that a little more often now that we're getting more stuff. Sorry, my face is all up in your face there. You enjoyed that little tour there. Like I said, we're going to do that a lot more often now that I have stuff coming up out of the garden. All right. So now we're really just getting work here today. Digging, and more digging. So basically what we're doing today, we're just pulling all this out, throwing it in my my cart over here, and taking it across the street. I've got a large field across the way that is meant to be a good little dumping ground for my grass and whatnot. So, but I hope everybody's having a good day today. Yesterday was a great day to be out here. Today's going to be a terrible day to be out here because it's going to be sunny and muggy because we got a bunch of rain yesterday, starting probably starting about 4 o'clock or so, and it rained till around 9 or 10, and like it's going to be 75 and just out here. So all right, so anyways, if you guys have any questions or anything comes up, or you're just curious, or if I didn't cover something well enough, just feel free to hop on, let me know. But like I said, today, for those who haven't been on the stream, again, my name is Ryan. I am just a dude, works in his garden, works in his yard, does different stuff here. Come live typically every weekday between 3 and 5 p.m. Eastern. Last couple weeks have been a little rough. I had a lot of client work. My day job does obviously take priority, which is I'm a business consultant out of West Michigan. But that's where I'm at. I'm in West Michigan, in this area, and I just come out live, come here, chat with you guys. So hopefully I'll earn your subscription today, especially if your subscription, if you really like to follow somebody who is basically just doing a lot of shoveling and doing the good stuff around his yard, because that's what today's going to be. A lot of this, and it's it's also reminiscent. I was thinking about my when I set up my garden, because when I built my garden last year, this was just an empty lot. Like there's nothing here except for a metric ton of grass, right? So what I had to do here is I actually went in and used my also, it was a lot less heavy yesterday, obviously, without being saturated with water. But I used my broad fork basically to turn over my entire where my garden was, being able to go through and that, I'll tell you, was opposite of fun. And the other thing you'll see here is actually, this is a good thing. So you can see what we deal with here in Michigan too. Kind of actually see the striation. So here is the loam that I paid, right, for my grass to come into, and then right underneath it, clay. This clay, sandy, yuck stuff that we get. We get so much of this, what's basically big chunks that we'll have. I mean, there's one, in a given day I'm working in my garden, if I'm pulling anything up, I could easily get something that is, if I had the means, I could start making my own collection of ceramic mugs. The purity and the quantity of the clay that I pull out of my garden, it's insane. So, but this has been overdue to get done. Not overdue. This is actually about the time I want to do it. I shouldn't say that. but it does need to get done here. We have our, what am I trying to say here? So we've had our privacy fence up for a little bit now, but we don't really want it looking all bland like this. That's the big piece. Nobody really wants a garden with a bunch of straight lines in it. You know what I mean? Your view. So we want to have some curves, and you'll see as we move along here, as I get this section done, where behind you it came, I elbowed out a little bit, and I'm just doing a little bit of weave back and forth around the 5 to 6 foot mark. So that's about the size that the beds need to be. But I want to definitely have curves in it for sure. Curves are cool. Curves, but they look nice. Oh, there's a little moth guy. What are you doing down there? All right. The other thing too, I won't be putting any landscape fabric down. I'm going to be seeding all of my perennials. Just like with what I had at the deck there, which was small little bushes that I knew were gonna, over the course of a couple years, will fill in just fine. I don't want to pay. I mean, it would be, again, it's 25 by 80 by 20, no, by 40 over there. Depending where I stop or how I make that work, but it's going to be it'd be 10 grand worth of like all the plants if I bought them outright instead of just the seeds. And Ryan ain't going to spend 10 grand on something that is going to grow anyways. I'll do seeds, get them planted, get one section at a time as I do them, and then just know next year will be the year that everything's popping, which is perfectly fine, right? No reason to, one thing that I think, and I've talked about this before on stream, but one of the reasons why I think people who get into gardening really enjoy it is the delayed gratification, of the work that you do, knowing that, the payoff on some of your stuff, like I say, for some of the crops, it's 90 to 120 days. So you're doing all this work for something that you're not going to see for 4 months. I'm just trying to save as much of the topsoil as I can. That's why I'm throwing them back down, guys. But that's the other piece here. So I'm gonna get these beds done, come through, broad fork them, rake them, smooth them out, and then basically plant my plants, and then wait for them to do what they do best. Not trying to rush it. Again, that's one thing you can pay if you want to, and I'm not knocking anybody who does. It's just that's not where I want to put my capital right now. That other stuff, that other places I want to put my capital at, be able to deploy it. One other nice thing to be able to go through here is I catch all the Japanese beetles before they're coming out, so I can kind of take care of a few of them before I got to break out the traps. There we go. The other thing too is this gets really heavy really quick when I'm trying to pull this across the street, so any less soil I got to move around, the better. Okay, so we're just gonna, well, I did my job. That guy does not want to come out. There we go. Yeah. All right, I was worried if I put those in well enough. I did it well enough, that's for sure. Woof, that stake was stuck. Now, the other thing too is, if you pay a company to come in and do this, especially for this size, and I have a landscaping company as one of my clients, there is definitely, the costs are up there. Like, that's for sure. So just keep that in mind. Like, I could have done my own grass and brought the loam in and do it all myself. My family's got the equipment to do it. I just didn't want to pay for it. I didn't want to take the time. And that's stuff that I scheduled for and budgeted for specifically to make sure that I could, spend time on other stuff, which was building out my garden. Because I could have either been working on my yard or working on the garden. And, garden won that one for sure. But I had saved up when we moved up. We decided to move back to Michigan. There was money specifically we set aside for a lot of stuff when we sold our old house. I had that money sitting in a particular bank account to cover a lot of the expenses that we had first year and into this year. We basically covered everything that we need to do, and the funds magically enough were just about right. So that was cool. I like that a lot. But anyways, for those of you just joining the stream, welcome. Again, my name's Ryan. Just a dude comes and works in his yard and stuff like that. Like today, we are. Hope to earn your subscription today. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and hit that notification bell so you know if I want to come live. Because I come live pretty much every day, different times, but during the week it's between 3 and 5 Eastern, working in my garden or doing stuff out here. But we are building out flower beds today. These are going to be spots for all my a border basically for my wall with a whole bunch of. Did you guys see that bird just buzz me? Had a sparrow just kind of tried to take me out. Anyways, this is going to be a border for my fence with a bunch of perennials that I have all the seeds for. So we're just building out the beds right now, which is great. Yeah, that's really it. And like I was saying, earlier, if you weren't here, went on a cool little tour. We may check it out again when I need a break. Go check out the garden again. Kind of show you what I did, because yesterday was a big day for compost. Like, compost was the word of the day. Oops. Between actually, building out my compost piles, because I had a week's worth of grass clippings that need to get incorporated, or basically laying compost out on my garden. As I don't do fertilizer, use compost for all those needs. And again, that compost is just, our household, food waste and leaves that I got from my neighbor next door. She's kind enough to give me all of her leaves from all of her trees last year, which was great. And that shovel just wants to fall down today. Go figure. But just mixing those up, and we had a good stream on that. And again, it's important if you can, and I do live when I do that, so people can learn who may not compost, how labor intensive that actually is. It takes about 45 minutes to turn over one pile, to do it right. It takes about that long. Checking the water levels, the moisture levels, making sure your mixture is correct. But also, compost is heavy. It's dirt. So it takes an awful lot to do. You know what I mean? And so I just like people to be able to see that and see where, I am. Oh, here's one for you. In case you've never seen underground wasp nest before, I just got one early. Go me. Send this across the street and be done with that. Whew. Glad I got that out of there. That'd have been a pain. But so yeah. Oh, and then so yesterday it was pretty funny. I put a short out yesterday on my chamomile that we saw earlier. It was pretty funny because I had people. I was just talking about that I'm making a bunch of tea out of the chamomile, and the folks. I'm assuming it's mostly folks from the continent and from Britain, because of the time frame, or maybe it could have been the Aussies too. Either way, they weren't American. At least I can tell you that much. They were letting me know, like, those are too mature. You can't use those for tea, because it was the full blooms. And I didn't want to tell them, like, I know that, but because I've been basically pinching off and pulling flowers out consistently, get more blooms to pop off. Because I want them more for my bees. My neighbor down the road here has beehives, so I want them coming, get used to coming into the garden. So, but it was just funny. I had all these comments basically telling me, like, "Hey man, you can't make tea out of those. It's too late." Which you can. Don't get me wrong. It just don't taste as good. Like, that's what they really mean. They're saying that. Oh, this loam. It's doing its thing. So I had I'm really surprised too, because yesterday I had all the robins stopping in here too while I was working. They were just hopping in here and chowing down on the worms I was bringing up. Surprised they're not back. They usually, within a few minutes of realizing, or me putting a shovel in the ground, I got robins for days around. Come on. There we go. But yeah, this is gonna be nice when this is all done though. It's gonna be really pretty. Again, especially trying to have something that's gonna be low maintenance for the most part, which is gonna be nice. That's what I do like about those when you get your when you do your your flower beds, you get your borders done with perennials. They take care of business. They make sure that they keep things going, but also when you have the right mix, you get that nice little setup of flowering at different times. You don't have to worry as much. Like, I worry that I'm having issues with some of my bulbs that I have out front. Doesn't happen with the perennials. They're coming up and doing their thing. And again, this is also something that's just really just for me and the redhead and any of our guests that come into the house. A lot of the stuff that's on the the outside of the house. I have the neighborhood in mind, just for them to be, stuff that they might like to see, or what is, would be considered, nice for the neighborhood. In here, I want to have the big old mess of perennials just overpowering us with a ton of flowers and just different colors doing their thing. Whereas I'm a little bit more subdued outside of the property, on the outside. But anyways, I'm up here in northern Michigan, and so I'm gonna run. So I'm gonna be back in about 3 minutes. I gotta run my wagon across the street here. So if you guys can hang tight for 1 second, I'll be right back. If not, thank you for hanging out on the stream. I will be right back. Tried to take you guys yesterday, and it was just a big old mess. So I don't necessarily want to do that today. Nothing personal, folks. All right, folks, I'm back. Cleared out my wagon. Successfully transplanted across the street into the field that's there. So that's good. Move this guy out of here. But yeah, this mountain ash, this mountain ash I have, it was a good find. I basically just move up here a little bit. You guys, right about there. Right about there. There. It's gonna be one of those days. Okay, anyways, this mountain ash was a great find. I was pretty excited that I got it. It just happened to show up at like the nursery right when I got there. So that was nice. Because I wanted to have one obviously for my birds, give them something to munch on during the winter, keep them around, and also give them a spot to kind of hang out, you know. So I'm going to be moving some other stuff in here as well. But and again, the mountain ash too, it's crazy. Like say my mom has one, and last year was like a super cycle year. You know how oaks, they have those super cycle years where they'll give a little, you know, they give a constant number of like acorns, and then one year they'll dump like 3 times as many as they normally do. You know, just a ridiculous amount. Mountain ashes do that with their fruit too. So she had, I mean, if you can just imagine seeing more orange than green, like that's how much she had in the way of fruiting last year. And it actually was enough because it was pretty cool around here for the winter. It wasn't a bad winter for us. But there was a couple of robins actually were able to stay on her property the year round. And they were just coming in on these things throughout, you know, during the day. Because obviously they couldn't get any worms with the ground being frozen. So that's You see a lot of this stuff here when I dug up from earlier. I just piled up the loam back here because I knew I was going to be coming through here anyways. So now some folks you'll start hearing people talk about what they want to do, like on their borders and stuff, especially on their, when it comes to these, where I'm going to come through once I have everything set. I'm going to use my my edger, not my weed eater, but I actually have a full edger with a blade on it. And I'm going to cut basically get these down here. Got enough sun on my don't need to get sunburned on this. I've been covered up for pretty much the entire year so far. This is my first time with short sleeves, and I'm basically been bathing in sunscreen. I'm gonna pay for it later probably, but is what it is. So anyways, I'm gonna come through with my edger and put an air gap in between where the grass is and the bed itself. It's I'm gonna end up with I want to get at least like a 1/2 inch gap to be able to have that here. And what that does is it stops the runners that the grass has from making its way over. And that way I don't have to worry about putting up one of those either plastic or one of those metal borders and just spending extra money on that. And also you can also just keep up on it too. I've got plenty of borders where I barely even have a gap, and I just got to come in maybe twice a year and just take 10 minutes and pull the grass out. So it all depends what you want to do. But I am a anti physical border person. It's not my style. I'd much rather just make a bare air gap to keep those runners from coming over than spend the money on something you're not going to see. And frankly, an air gap works just fine too. Now, if my client happens to recommend one for you, obviously, please go ahead and pay my client whatever they're asking for. Pretend we didn't talk. But, man, it's a gorgeous day out, though. Not exactly a gorgeous day to be shoveling, but I will take it after being stuck inside all winter like we were. That's the other thing, too. If you have room for a greenhouse, even just a small one, a little 4x4, 6x6, something. If you can get one. This winter, anytime the sun was out, I put a chair up and I was hanging out in the greenhouse, even if I wasn't doing anything any working on my seedlings or anything like that, just to get some sun, but also, frankly, just to be outside and warm up a little bit. So if you have the ability, I highly recommend you get one. Just even help stave off the old seasonal depression disorder. Because when I tell people like there's the seasonal depression's a thing, and they're like whatever, and they don't live up north. So I just come up to Michigan for a while, where the sun doesn't come out. It's not that it doesn't come out from behind the cloud bank for 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks, we don't see the sun up here. It just stays cloudy. And every now and again, you'll get a day where the wind will change. It'll blow the cloud bank back over Lake Michigan. But that's pretty short-lived. You're going to be back to cloudy within a day or two. So I pretty much, anytime I had the chance, I was out in my greenhouse just soaking up that sun. Gonna do my part. All right, so anyways, we're back here just working on working on the spot here, building out our beds for the garden here, or for my yard. This is going to be I think it's 11 total. I'll have to double check the stuff here, because once I get basically to the halfway point here, I'm gonna stop basically digging. I'm basically done. I got a couple more I got to do, so I kind of want to split it. Come in here with a broad fork. We're gonna start loosening up all the soil. I'll be raking it, kind of get it set. I'll take my time with it, because what we're doing, and I'm building out the plan that I'm using is basically each section is its own thing. So I'm going to have those 14 plants planted around in this section, and then just repeat all the way around the property. So that is the plan. So when I get one section done where I can do it, then we're going to come in, do the work, and then it'll probably be tomorrow, because I want to give this stuff a chance to kind of be out and dry out just a little bit before I get the seeds in there, for any weed seeds or anything that might be there. Give them a chance to just kind of do their thing, which there shouldn't be too many. But you know how that goes. A lot of times they're just waiting. So yeah, we're almost to the point where I'm going to be broad forking and then raking to get this set. So again, my name is Ryan Howe. Thanks everybody who's joined. If you haven't been on the stream before, I am just a dude who likes to work in his garden in his yard. So you found me. Congrats, welcome. I hope I earned your subscription today. And if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. I go live an awful lot. Yeah, so for those that are on stream, just curious, where are you guys at? As I said, I'm over here in northern Michigan, near Lake Michigan itself. Just about, Lake Michigan's about 10 miles that way. About 10 miles to get to it. And so we, here in this wonderful area, we go from, winter wonderland to hot, muggy Midwest in about a week. That's how quick the turnover is. And in case you can't tell by how much I'm sweating, we are currently in the hot, sweaty, hot, humid time. It's pretty significant, especially with all that rain we got yesterday, which we needed. We hadn't had a really good soaking rain in a while, so the ground was definitely suffering a little bit from it. But yeah, definitely one of those days. We'll get this section here done. Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way basically to the edge here, so I'm just gonna cut it off straight there. So we'll come through and clean this up later. It's always interesting to see what else is growing in my grass. Had a oak tree from my neighbor's, or acorn from my neighbor's oak tree doing its thing. In case you ever wondered, there's an acorn's taproot with that little bit of leaf. So they get started before going down, before you even see that that leaf come through, which isn't a terrible thing. Yeah, remember they're helping to decompact the soil every time they punch something in there. You know, like I'm pulling all the soil off right now, but you want nice, loose, decompacted soil so you get this type of growth with your roots, where it's just going down and doing its thing. Yeah, that's a good news story for here. You can see it's almost 3 inches, 4 inches down where those roots have gone. That's good, healthy grass that I'm ripping up and throwing it away across the street. But you know what I mean. All right. Like I said, I'm just trying to save as little bit of this loam as I can. It's not necessary, but some of the soil I got here ain't the best either. All right. Yeah, so today's been all right so far. Pretty happy with it. I had to get up to the grocery store. I had to get a bunch of stuff. We were behind on our grocery shopping. So I mean I had to get out here first thing and get after it. Which is fine. And just so you know, this pains me to no end. Like if you were on stream yesterday, before I even put the first shovel in the ground, I was just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I love my grass. Because this yard was basically just a field full of crabgrass and crap grass. So we had to kill everything off, and then all new topsoil. So I could come in here and get this stuff planted. But since even just having this little bit of the dirt border that I currently have on this, it's already looking better. So where are you guys from? Just curious. Anybody's on the stream today? I don't know if you have a garden or not. We have pretty much everybody. I've got container gardeners that hop on here. We have discussions about that, which is always fun. Got some folks. I have one guy. He actually owns. I won't use his name or anything, but he comes on quite a bit. Has his own landscape company and a market garden. We chat a little bit about stuff. He's given me a couple pretty cool hints and tips to help me with my gardening, which I'm thankful for. So there's always something to learn, folks. That's the other one. What I love about this type of stuff, because like the way that the seasons are changing, the climate's changing around here. Not talking just climate change, guys. Just so it's not that thing, but there is a change in the way that our winters have been for sure. I was able to get my garden started 2 weeks early, like and not even really worry about it. So, but to be able to plan around that, because I got my, what was it? But the way that works out for my, when I'm starting my seeds, I could have in theory, and I will next year, give it a try. I could be starting in January on a lot of my stuff, knowing that it could be out. Basically, it could be out in time for, basically April for some things, April or March, which is just wild to me. But also knowing how well they grow from containers and stuff too, learning that piece here, because a lot of my flowers I could have got started. I could have waited on the marigolds. I could have waited another few weeks just so that they'd be ready to be able to have them out. But my Johnny jump ups and the other stuff that I did, I could have got those started way earlier. This is how long it takes, because we're not, even though the weather's better, the sun isn't there. There's enough sunlight for them to really get going. But you can have them established, and then they're just waiting on the sun, which is what they're going to be like, when they're, they're going into next year, because they're a perennial, which I love. That's what I love about wildflowers. They're perennials. Plant them once, then forget about it. That's the best. Not having to think about them, just know they're going to come up and do their thing. lazy person gardening. So that's the other one too. So I'm starting mums this year. I'm starting here in a couple weeks. I'm not really a mums fan. But when I get those mums going, I'm going to put some in here because they are, they flower in the fall. So that'll give us some extra, all of our pollinators, some food going into the fall here, into the winter. But yeah, this is a good stuff across the board today. Finish this guy off. I think we're at the point now where I'm actually going to stop here for a second. I'll grab some water, change my gloves, they're getting soaked. And then yeah, I just need to get some water, change my gloves, because these things are pretty nasty right now. I'll be right back. All right, I have water. Water has been gotten. Good stuff. All right, doing pretty good here today. So again, everybody, welcome to the stream. Oh man, we're getting some clouds in here. That's good stuff. Put these back up then. Get some clouds in here, some cloud cover. So yeah, we are today working on, bring us back here, you can kind of see what we did, where we've been at so far. Building out basically my garden border. It's going to be flower beds with perennials on my grass here. And it's just been me working through the sadness of having my grass, cutting my grass out that I love this so much. It's just like this time last year, I just didn't have grass here. There wasn't grass here. The sun just came out. I remember when I just said there's a bunch of clouds? Sun just decides to come out again. Oh well. Anyways, but last year in the property here, it was basically nothing here except dirt. And after 4th of July weekend, landscape company finally came through and started on this, and it was basically beginning of July. We got they came in and started doing the work, putting down this loam, killing everything off, putting the loam down, which when they came through and killed off the stuff that was here, wasn't really happy about that, to say the least. They did spray a little bit in my garden, so some of my stuff got stunted. Didn't kill it, but it stunted it pretty bad. But then they put this grass in here, and it's been growing like bad ever since, which is great, but I love it. However, like I say, you see I haven't cut this week because I knew I was going to be ripping it out. And that's kind of the deal, is that work so hard to keep this up, and obviously paid a good chunk of money to get this thing, so now just to be ripping it all out makes me sad. But I needed it here because I wasn't going to have time and to get my basically the yard taken care of. At the same time, I'd be taking care of my garden and everything outside around the house. Like I knew this was going to be last, so I just had them put grass down here to protect everything. And don't get me wrong, it looks pretty, but we need to have borders here, folks. Gotta have something ringing this thing. Too many straight lines. Gotta get some curves in here, right? Like curves. What did I just step on? No, just broke a stick. Okay. So with that, for those that are just joining us here, let me grab my book. I'll show you what we're working on. It's I recommend you get a copy of yourself as well. So what we're doing here, and again, make sure you get, this is the book that I recommend you get. Again, I'm in the Midwest. Wherever you're at, get the version of for your, you can find these on Amazon. Check this out. And this is going to give you all sorts of design ideas with plants that are going to work well in your area. Okay, so we always want to do that. You can see they've got little ideas for everything, right? You can flip through. But I wanted to do just a simple border, simple, right? And I went and found this. You can see how it's got the fence behind it, and it's got the, but what they do, right? They give you the picture of it, so you know it's going to look. And then down here, all the way down here. So each one of those little squares is a foot. It tells you exactly how big your bed, each one of these bed sections needs to be, depth and width. Then it tells you exactly where to plant your plants. And then they give you the exact description of which one is. So what I did, I landed on this one, said this looks pretty. I can do that. I got the width and everything. So this is 5 to 6 feet in width here, or in depth, I should say. And then I just went to Amazon and bought all these seeds and a couple bulbs. So that way I can do all of these basically around my entire area, which is, this section is 25 by, here, let's just go for the tour. Got 25 by 80 by 30. Actually, no, 30, 40. Sorry, 40, my bad. So yeah, it's 40 over there. So you do even just a quick math on that, that's like 10 grand worth of plants. That ain't happening. So with this, just going to be building these out and just planting them here. And this first season, they're not going to be spectacular, but they'll be set up to go for next year. That's all I'm really looking for. Earlier we did a tour of my garden. What we had going around there, and just kind of showing folks what we're doing. Hey, do you guys want to go see the garden? If someone writes in the chat, yes, let's go look at the garden. We'll go check out the garden. We'll take a break from this. So yeah, if you want us to go check out the garden, hit yes in the basically in the comments, and we'll head over there, do a quick little tour of the garden, show you where we're at. But anyways, so yeah, just the garden. I knew when I set that up, it was going to be for a longer term thing. Like a lot of stuff I was doing, it wasn't going to bear fruit for a few till this year. I had a good garden last year, but it was a lot of me just figuring out what the garden looked like, what it should look like and stuff. So, all right. Well, this load is getting ready to be dumped, so I got to disappear for a few minutes, folks. Run this stuff across the street. And when I get back, if any of you would like to see what's in the garden, again, please put bright yes in the comments. We'll go right across the way there and look at my garden. Check out tomatoes and everything else I got growing in there, and also all the structures that I built. And talk through them. All right. So with that, I'm going to split for a little bit. Be back in about 3 minutes, folks. 3 minutes. Hang tight. All right. All right. I'm back, folks. Thanks for hanging out. So, you know what? I think we're just going to go for a garden tour. Need a little breather after that. Let's do it. Let's go for a little garden tour. Let's go check it out. All right. So, as you can see here, this is my garden enclosure. Greenhouse back there. Here's this spot. Again, that needs to get straightened up going soon here, but these are my basically my compost bins. Got my leaf mulch back here. And 1, 2, you can see where I eat a lot of eggs, folks. And we get, here's where my compost is. Let's go and check the temperature while we're here. We got 130, a little over 130 earlier today. Now we're sitting at, same thing, right about 130. So that's good. That's what you're looking for. I figure, within the next day, that should be up around 150. My stuff tends to heat up pretty quick. Got my strawberries. I did a video on this if you want to go check out my channel on how to start strawberries from bare root, which these were. And you can see, guys, even starting to blush a little bit. Get a little red to them. Love it. So this is also, if you've been with the channel for a while, these are our Mexican sunflowers. And what they do is they end up being a large, bushy plant, about 5 to 7 feet tall, with a bunch of red flowers on it. Along the way here, we've got, this is black-eyed Susans. These are cucamelons. They're little, it's a vine that's going to grow up here and have lots of little cucumbers about yay big. See, here's our marigolds. You've been with the channel, for a while. Yeah, I started these from seed a little bit ago. And we'll go inside the garden, probably easier that way. Here, look at all this chamomile. Aren't those pretty? Aren't those gorgeous? And so I typically deadhead these a little bit earlier to use them for tea. But I'm letting these actually go out this round. I'm going to be, basically stripping all the heads off here in the next couple days once I start to see the flowers go. Because I'm letting my neighbor's bees come over here and get some of these. Give this a little sniff here. Look at those. Oh, it's good stuff. Love chamomile. All right, so I got my corns coming up. Let's see right here. This is corn that I got from last year that I saved from corn that actually grew here last year in those areas. And behind that are my sunflowers. They haven't really popped up yet, which is weird. So if I don't see them popping up in the next few days, I got to get some more sunflowers in. So this, anybody recognize what that plant is? Anyone? Yellow flowers. These are Brussels sprouts. These are Brussels sprouts, and I let them go to seed or to make, because they end up making these cool little pods with a whole bunch of seeds in them. So I'm going to save a bunch of those, and I'm going to drop more Brussels sprouts right there. Right there. I'm probably going to put some right there. Probably going to put some right there, because they flower so well. The pollinators love them. Then over here, there, cool stuff there. And that's the compost. So yesterday was a compost day. As you can see, I've got compost down all around here. And this is basically two of those partitions, those corrals worth of compost that we had. And you can see these are my zucchini. And then over here is my summer squash. And I see I already got a little summer squash doing this thing right. Oops. Summer squash doing his thing. Right. Where are they at? Right there. Little guy right there. But these are all going to be staked. So what you're going to see is I saved sunflower stalks from last year, dried them out and cured them. I'm going to be placing them in basically right around there, give or take, or on this side, wherever works best, and staking these and growing everything vertical. So I'm going to have a couple of them. We're just going to kind of grow them up this way. kind of rip the leaves off as we go. And so there's that. This is the section over here for all my tomato trellises. So that whole section is nothing but tomatoes. It's like, I think the number is 64 or 68. No, it's 54 total tomato plants that I have. And they just got composted yesterday. This guy over here. Now these are all San Marzanos. San Marzanos. If you don't know what those are, they're kind of like Roma, except the internal chambers are flipped 90 degrees. And then these are a 60-day hybrid, like an early slicer that we have here. So I started this and that one about the same time. This one's just starting to fruit just a little bit. But these are all of the tomatoes that I do are indeterminate. And again, just as a reminder, for indeterminate means they will grow. They will just keep growing higher and higher and higher as long as you support them. They grow for an indeterminate size. That's what that means. I don't do bush tomatoes. I don't like investing all the time and energy into them just to turn around and be like, I got one bit of fruit from it. Not my style. We want stuff fruit all year. Then let's see, I do have marigolds, popped in here around the spot around here. I got my basil doing its thing, and then these, which are now finally starting to catch a little bit. They were struggling out here for a little bit because of the cold, but it's been warming up enough now where these guys are starting to pop. And these are all two different types of cherry tomatoes over here. And then see back over here, these are more of the those hybrid that I had down there, but they are just planted a month afterwards, so a month behind. That's kind of what I like to do. I like to have my slicing tomatoes staggered. You'll see I got basil all over the place. Then I got this here. This is my thyme plant. This is a perennial, and this stuff is so great. So anytime I need thyme, even in the winter, I just come out here, grab this, and it smells wonderful. I love this German thyme, but the flowers are just gorgeous. So cute, just delicate. You know what I mean? All right. Got another marigold there. My oregano is doing pretty good over there. Here's my peas. Not really happy with them this year, to be honest. They're kind of, but I plant peas, same thing I do with my tomatoes. So these have been in for 5 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I just kind of stagger them so I always have some fresh stuff coming. On this side of the garden, we got some I got some cauliflower right here. Got some kale. I got these are endives. These are endives. They're nice and bitter, peppery. And then I got 2 different types of lettuce, and then I got a whole bunch of butter lettuce that I just put in yesterday as well, and my carrots. I have one one pumpkin from last year. I just decided to grow, and I'm just going to let it go because I'll just train the vein over here to where my other pumpkins are at. Let's see, I've got one popping up there. I got another one. Oops, I got another one right there. So then we got our squash. So all things considered, doing pretty good. So yeah, so that's the garden, folks. So let me get back over here and get to work. Stop screwing around. And get productive. All right. Let's do this. I got a little bit left here and I can get started on this one. That'll be cool. That's going to be cool. Kind of excited about this. Whew. That's nice. That sun being down, sun being behind clouds, and then just having this little breeze going. I like that. I like that a lot. Let me check something real quick. All right, there we go. Back at it. Come on. Again, folks just joining. We are making flower beds, doing basically a border for my fence here in my yard. Try to break up this whole This monotony we got here, all these straight lines. We're gonna add some perennials in here and get them rolling. That guy. But hopefully everybody's having a good day today. Sunday here in the US. I'm trying to get basically this one done here so I can get in here with the broad fork, do some work, and then study up on my seeds to make sure I know how to. I hear you. Make sure I know how they're doing. I don't know if they need to be. Not sure if the seeds that I have for these perennials, if they've got to be in the freezer overnight or whatnot. So that's going to be this afternoon once I get the bed all set here. Just researching. Then tomorrow I'll get all the seeds planted and then start on the next bed. So I'll have my, and just kind of work my way down the line. And we're looking at linear feet left to do. It's about 105 linear feet left to do. That's not an insignificant amount, So I say, just trying to save as much of this loam as I can. What are you doing today? Okay, you all look like you're doing well. Oh. So yeah, it'll be good especially if there's some of you who've never used a broad fork before. I'm gonna break that out here in a little bit. It'll be good to kind of see how you can use it, how it's meant to be used. It's not meant to be like a tilling. It's meant for tilling. You can use it for that, but I don't recommend it. As someone who has used it for tilling, definitely don't recommend it. But it is really good it's mainly there to help with compaction or decompaction more than anything. Have stuff just kind of keeping your soil loose, because again, when you have good compaction, right, you end up with, see how those roots went down in this? That's how the soil was not compacted at all, so the roots are able to just quickly get in there and get in with all the goodness. That's what you want. Nice loose soil all the time. That's where I've got a video, if you haven't seen it, where I have a lawn aerator. I did a video on it. You should check it out. It's on the channel. And that entire reason you do that is to help decompact the soil. You remove some of the soil out of there, and it just loosens everything up. And it gives you all this oxygen and other goodness for your for the roots, for your plants, for the microbes. So that's the other piece here that a lot of folks, they just forget about when it comes. They don't think about it when they're working on their yards and stuff. Your goal should not be to have a healthy lawn. That's not what you're looking for. What you want to have is I should show you this. You want to have is a bunch of healthy bacteria living in this, because they're the ones that are feeding your lawn, feeding your grass and everything. Okay, so that's what you want to do when you're thinking about this. You want to say, okay, how can I help those microbes be healthier? And the microbes we have in the soil are aerobic bacteria. It means they need air. So they need a lot of oxygen. So if your soil is heavily compacted, air can't get down to them. Water nutrients definitely can't get down to them. So they suffocate and starve. So we want loose soil that isn't compacted. Like, that's what you should be looking for. Your soil, you should be able to take a screwdriver and with relative ease place it down. Relative ease, just place it down into the push down into the ground, just straight through, like it's nothing. that is the level of, decompaction you want, because look how easy this just comes apart. See what I mean? It's loose, but it's stable. That's what you're looking for. And when it's loose like that, gives lots of room for these little guys come through and do their thing. Little earthworm buddies digging holes. Obviously they're doing their thing in there too. But that's what we're looking for. That's healthy soil. So that should be your goal. Grow healthy soil. Lots of with a lot of organic matter in it, which the organic matter is all those roots. All those roots. That stuff eventually, when the plant, they get damaged, the plant's got to regenerate. My dog is trying to save me now from. Sorry, I can just hear my dog barking. What is she barking at? Anyways, when the plant goes like through a regeneration style, or it eventually gets to the point where it passes, it dies, all these roots that are in there, they biodegrade and do good things in the soil. All the grass clippings that are in there, when you do that, they fall down in there and add that matter right back in the soil, which is what you want. So, man, I got dirty today. Got dirty. I wonder what my dog's barking at. Last time it was some kid with a tiny little dog, like the littlest dog you've ever seen. And my dog, one that I have, one's barking. Bonnie is a blue barrel rough collie. She ain't that small. I shouldn't be freaking out over a little dog. But dogs will be dogs, I guess. All right. Let's get this up here. Whew. But yeah, and this week too was this week I didn't get much done out here. I was traveling a lot. I was in Maine for work, so that was a whole other thing. Kind of put me behind on stuff. Not bad or anything. Just I could be further along. So all right, how far do I want to go here? I think right to there. Actually, I'm going to go right to here. Let's mark this off. Okay. So this last bit I got to do. So you guys got to kind of come around the horn with me here, see what's going on. So welcome everybody. Kind of continue to turn here a little bit. See how that looks. Yeah, that's too far up for you guys. You guys don't need to look at the tree. The heck. There you go, that's better. Yeah. So anyways, I was Maine for working with clients, and for me, I have to leave bright and early. It's a 2-hour drive to the airport for me. And then on the early flight, so I can get there, at a decent time, and then, do my work. So that then you have decent time, obviously get some sleep, and then next day wake up and go work with my clients. But then that next day I have to fly out bright and early because I got to catch the first flight out basically. Because if I don't, I get back here around 2 p.m. If I take the early flight, I'm here before noon. I'm here just back home around 11:30. If I don't catch the first flight out, I don't get back home till 6. That's just not okay. You know what I mean? That just doesn't work for me. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little sleep over a couple days just to make sure I'm back in time. You know what I mean? Ugh. That being said, I love my clients in Maine. They're just great. The law firm that I work with. I'm a business coach, by the way. FYI, for those that don't know, I'm a business coach. So help companies grow help people grow their businesses. You learn more at summitbusinessguys.com. Not sponsored, just a little shameless plug, right? But anyways, when I'm gone like that, it means I don't get any time in the garden or anything. The wife, she hooks me up, she water everything, but that's about it, extent that she does out here. Like I said, the reason I'm just being violent with my grass here is I'm just trying to keep as much of this mulch in here, or this sod, good Lord, loam in here as I can. It's good stuff. I mean, it doesn't make that big of a difference, but it's also kind of heavy. Whereas carrying this stuff over across the street to the field to dump it, save my old bones here a little bit. Coming up on 46 this year. 46 years. An old dude. I'm a grandpa. But it's been a good run. Got plenty of runway left too, which is good. So I think just keep in mind for folks, not how many years in life you have, it's how much life do you have in your years that you've been around. Way too many people that wait too long to start living their lives. As soon as it's just whether you want to make it a priority or not, you know what I mean? That's a big piece that I've seen with a lot of folks. They don't make it a priority to do to make living a priority. Everybody's got their own lives they're living, different things that are going on. So I'm not knocking people for making the choices they do. What I'm saying is, if you have the ability to travel, if you have the ability to go do the things that you want to do, but the only thing stopping you is, I'm worried about this or I'm worried about that, those worries are going to be with you forever. Don't ever let that stop you from doing something that you want to get out and go do. That's one of the bigger things that I've learned during my time. You can always come up with a reason not to do stuff. And what we should be doing is focusing on reasons to do things. Vice versa, that thing. All right. Whew. Yeah, I want to just finish this piece off. Because whatever I have back here. So I just gotta think out loud for a little bit here, folks. So I'm gonna rim the layers of this stuff here, break it up there. So it's gonna hook all the way around. So no matter where I start it here, I can stop right there. Yeah, we'll just cut it off right here and just pick it up here because it's gonna be the same stuff no matter what. Okay, cool. That's a good news story. All right, so just kind of made a command decision there. We're gonna stop right there. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start broad forking. Yeah, if you guys haven't done any broad forking or haven't seen broad forking before, you're in for a treat. It's good times. Let me get this stuff kind of squared away back here, though. All right, cool. Cool. Oh man, I think I'm gonna end up sunburned on my legs, guys. That makes me sad. Really sad. But it is what it is. Sometimes that do be happening. But talking about this sunburn you get like on top of your legs. Oof, it hurts. But I've been putting sunscreen on, so hopefully it's not too bad. We all know it's going to be too bad, right? Like, none of us are going to be shocked when tomorrow Ryan's all, hey everyone, guess what? I actually did get sunburned on my legs pretty bad. And instead of being this pasty white that they are, they're going to be tomato red. All right, cool. So I'm going to go get my broad fork. We're going to get started on this. So again, for those aren't sure what we're doing here, once I get back, I'm going to bring out the book, kind of talk you through what we're doing. It's good stuff. So just hang on for 1 second. BRB. All right, I'm back, folks. Okie doke. So we are gonna be broad forking. Those who don't know what that is, looks like this. The big old, basically, it's a the idea behind it, behind a broad fork, 100%, is meant to be for you to deal with compaction in your ground. That's what it's for. That and nothing else. I'm gonna lower you guys down. I'm gonna be moving backwards here in a hurry. So there you go. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here with the broad fork. So okay, with your broad fork, it's just meant to loosen up your soil. Period. Dot. That's it, guys. Nothing else. So if you've used one before, obviously let me know. Getting all dirty here today. But the idea here is I've got some soil down here that's underneath the loam that I had that I'm just loosening up. That's the idea, because I'm going to be coming through here with my tomorrow, because I'm not going to do it today. I want this to kind of dry out just a little bit, air it out some after yesterday's rain, have the sun hit it a bit. Is I'll be planting all of my perennials, the seeds that I have. But I want to get in and start working on the compaction now, so everything can just be kind of, start getting it loosened up for me. Because the best way to start your seeds is you want them to be in the soil to be as loose as possible, so that they're spending less time, less energy trying to build roots and more energy on growing, right? Easier that they can get their roots down into something good, the better. Like that's what you want. And my soil I have it's pretty dark. I've got loam on top, some now, not as much, but I've got a kind of a clay mixture underneath. So moisture retention is not going to be an issue. Like that's not a concern, especially once everything kind of gets intermixed here. And doing that. So you'll see here, like when I'm loosening this up, I'm actually even kind of giving it a little bit of a lift to pseudo till this. I'm not trying to turn the soil completely over. I'm just trying to loosen it up some. But when it does happen, because there is that clay component, it does turn over a little bit, and that's okay. At the end of the day, what we're trying to get is this soil loosened up and make sure we have plenty of air pockets in there too, little ones, and it'll recompress, recompact here over the next couple weeks. But right now, I want the stuff nice and loosened up. And you'll see, like, that's what I'm talking about with my layers that I have. It's pretty straightforward. I got this clay mixture, sand and clay mixture, but plenty of organic matter in there. Then we got the loam right on top that Ryan paid to be brought in here for my grass. But I will tell you, that sandy clay mixture stuff, don't knock it. It is, once it starts having some organic matter in it, stuff loves to grow in it. It really does. But you do end up with, until the roots are in there, you end up with stuff like this. That's like pure clay. Like I said, I can make if you want, I can make you your own special little mug, little coffee mug if you like, from Ryan to you. But with that, clay stinks to get started in. It really does. But once the plants are able to get going, especially since this is like a sandy clay mixture, plants love it, because even if it's dry, it's been dry for a little bit, because this clay is below the surface, it's holding on to a ton of moisture. So the roots have got plenty. It helps with the kind of way the weather goes here in Michigan too. We get these times of, we don't get a lot of rain or anything, So we have to, the clay in the soil helps to maintain the moisture balance for us. That took way too long to say. Sorry about that. I'm just mumbling over my words here. And you'll see sometimes when I go to hop on the old the broad fork there, I slip right in with no problem. Those are areas where there's more sand than clay. Spots where it's a little bit more difficult. Guess what? More clay than sand. That's all that means. And we're going to be running into some spots here that are going to be troublesome to say the least as we make our way around the property. When I was putting in this fence with my brother, there's a few sections that were pretty rough. I can even show you here, I think on this spot here. Okay, time to learn some more about soil. Okay, so we've got loam up here. We got our clay layer, our sandy clay layer. Right, you can see it does do this whole clay thing, but there are sand particles in it. See that? See it better down here. And what happens here is, depending on where you're at, roots are going to do better. You see what I mean? Just as I started going to where it's a little bit sandier, more roots are able to penetrate. And that's what we're kind of up against here. Just trying to break it up a little bit. Hey, buddy. Come here, earthworm guy. Go back here. Down there. There you go.